All right, good morning. Welcome in for another Friday safety focus of the week. It is Friday, June 16th. This week's code of conduct is to be prompt, start on time, work appointments, projects, etc. Any further comments on the code item, Mr. Dow?
I got a good one. My dad always told me this. If you're always early, you're never late.
Wise words.
Words of Dr. Ben.
Like it. So we did have an incident late yesterday, so we're still unsure the final verdict of the doctor's notes if we still have 44 days without a recordable injury, but for the sake of this meeting, we're going to leave it at 44, but definitely it was a beyond first aid accident yesterday. So we had an employee kind of picking up something extremely heavy, lost his balance on top of a truck and fall about 4 feet onto his shoulder and back and neck area. So team picks, let's use the buddy system. Let's use our heavy equipment if we can. Let's just try to work a little bit smarter and eliminate those unsafe acts and unsafe behaviors that lead to some of these pretty serious accidents that we happen from time to time. So let's just think before what we're doing and let's work together and not put our priority straight where it's safety versus production. So let's keep our
Hey,
priorities
Matt.
straight.
Yep. If you think to yourself, man, I wonder if I should be doing this, you probably shouldn't.
Yep. Yep. Well said. So Austin's going to talk about a little bit about fire prevention, especially regarding our new fuel cubes that you're seeing on site and out back, and just best practices in how to prevent a major fire, but also making sure we're in compliance with some of the labeling requirements. So take it away, Austin.
How's it going, everyone? Yeah, I just wanted to talk briefly about the new Jobsite fuel tanks we're seeing around. This is a picture of one over in the Richmond job. The tanks are nice and new. They have decent labeling on them. They have some warnings and things like that, but yeah, I think we might kind of try and go above and beyond and get these hazard communication stickers for them. Just because when they are just sitting there in a job site, they're a stationary storage tank, so they should be properly labeled with everything. It's got to have the flammable, what it is, diesel fuel, obviously, and got to make sure it has all the proper labeling on it. Around it, you have to have a 12-foot wide access point for emergency vehicles, so that has to be within 200 feet. So that's quite a big distance. Yeah, in Richmond, it's right there by the road, so there's not an issue there. You've got to keep the area around the tank free of weeds and debris, material, anything combustible, anything that could create or spread a fire. And then make sure that tank is properly vented. I believe the company is gonna come and inspect the vents and things like that, and make sure they're working properly. And then when you're filling the tank, make sure your filling point is 25 feet away from the work area, any buildings, things like that. Just to prevent accidental fire. If you have a fire, you want that equipment to be far away from anything that else that could go up. And have the tank in an area where it won't be accidentally damaged. Make sure it's out of the way where you're not gonna back into it or something like that with equipment. And make sure there's one fire extinguisher within between 20 and 25 and 75 feet. If you get a fire, you don't want a fire extinguisher right next to the fire. It's pretty hard to get to. So make sure that's 25 feet away, but within 75 feet. So it's you're not trying to get to it if you need it. And the fire extinguisher needs to be a 20B classification, which it pretty much means that it has enough contents to put out a fire if properly used within 20 square feet. So it will cover that amount of square feet. So when you grab a fire extinguisher, check that thing. Make sure it's not too small for what you need it for. A lot of the ones we have here are the smaller ones. They're only 10B. So make sure it's the correct ones. Just be safe around these. Don't they're all nice, new, and shiny. Try not to damage them, and get them all scratched up. So, yeah, just think about these things when you're setting them up or using them. So that's all I really have today.
Yeah, thanks, Austin. And a highlight, let's also make sure we got spill kits nearby.
Yeah.
So we can clean up any small mess. And then also we'll be going around and just checking compliance on these and also putting proper labeling and also no smoking while fueling. It's just a good friendly reminder for everybody as well.
That is on there. So
yeah, awesome. That's all we have, Ken. So if you want to take it away.
Thanks. Yep. Thanks, Austin. I don't know. I don't see Ben McKinney on. I think he's had a day off. And if he might have a few things to say about these new fuel cubes or whatever we want to call them. Ben, do you have any comments? I mean, they're new and there's kind of a strategy and there's some good, process behind all these new things. There's more to it than it looks like, right? Especially with the supplier.
I think it would be a good idea to have it, to get a good handle on it and maybe talk about it again next week. I don't know. I think some of the processes are evolving. I do understand that there's the fuel company comes in before we get here to fuel our heavy trucks. So that when the guys get here, the trucks are all fueled when they get in them and leave. And so they come into our yard. If anybody's working in the middle of the night, you see a fuel truck in here playing around with our trucks.
They're not draining the tanks.
Yeah, they're not stealing our fuel. So we're trying that for a while to see how it works out. Hopefully it'll get the trucks onto your jobs earlier. They can be there with a load rather than being sitting at the fuel depot waiting behind other trucks. And I know that Richmond has one, and some of the other jobs are going to have those fuel cubes for the off-road fuel. And I do believe there's one getting set up. I don't know if it's fully functional yet, but right out back here. And I know that the purpose of it initially was just going to be the equipment haulers and the equipment getting fueled it when it came in. But I also believe the paving crew, since they're staged right there, loading up all their equipment in the morning before they leave. But beyond that, anyone else that's, got your off-road trucks, your tank with your off-road fuel in it in your job pickup, I believe that we're still going to, global for all that stuff. So yes, we still have the global cards. We still have full access to the global system. This is just supplementing that. So maybe a little bit more as it evolves. By next Friday, we'll have even a better handle on it.
Okay. All right.
If that's
Sounds
helpful.
Yep. So I'll take over the screen here. And pop that up. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yep, we got it.
Okay, good. This box out of the way. My little viewing box. There we go. Okay, for announcements this week, Monday is Juneteenth, which means banks, post offices, and I think state offices are closed, or some municipal offices, I believe. I think it's still kind of inconsistent out there, but ECI is open. And another item to talk about here is ECI's retirement plan is moving from Newport to a census. And while a census name may be new to you, the census is the largest independent provider of tax advantage savings plans in the country. And so this this transaction or this acquisition from Census to Newport happened back in 2022, and it's been going on in the background. And I think they're going to finally kind of bring the Census name to the front when we do our check on the 401k to see where, what our funds are, whatever online, like I've explained before. You'll have, I'm assuming, a new website and everything. That's going to happen next week. Starting the 23rd, and it could run till the 22nd. There's some information online about it, and also there's a blackout period during that time. So it's the 22nd, I guess, and it starts and goes through about the 26th, but that's only estimated. And they just got to get everything together and get everybody's accounts back up and visible to you. Everything obviously will be running in the background as far as, earnings and stuff like that. I think our contributions just don't happen. Company contributions and payroll contributions don't happen during that period to keep everything at a constant as much as they can. But this whole thing does not affect any of your funds. It's the same old things. These are like the record keepers, really. So they keep track of, what plans or what funds you have and what percentages or dollars you put towards each fund and what you have in there. So that's what I know about it. And, it should be a good, successful migration for them. Ben, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I believe that initially from what I remember from what Ursula said, after the blackout period, I believe we still log into our Newport. And then I think the transition from Newport to the next website happens either as a part of that or after that, but I'm not sure. That's the only question I had was after the blackout period, how do I access it? She said initially the Newport is still going to work. So if anyone uses that, we'll find out more details for next Friday.
Yeah, and you might find it on this online frequently asked question.
Yep. Yeah.
Website.
Yep. Definitely.
Okay. All right. So just reminding everybody that we're in a 2023 healthcare premium holiday going on for 14 weeks, started a couple weeks ago.
It's awesome.
And we have some new employees. This is Joe Sears and Samuel Coda and John Still.
And
So
John's a
welcome
returnee.
He is, yeah. I think this is his third time or something. So welcome everybody. Welcome back, John. And just a little announcement here, upcoming thing. It was actually in the news yesterday. The Lamoille Valley Rail Trail Bike Ride. That's the 13th Saturday. And the rail trail is something we worked on here a little bit lately, but not a whole big, just as subs, I think, here and there. But we did the take up, which means that when it was a rail corridor, we were hired by VTrans to remove the track, including the rail and the ties and signs and equipment along the way, and then groom it out. And then the later contracts were through VTrans were for making it into a bike path with all the appropriate signage and surfaces and fixing bridges. Well, it's done. And there's kind of this event coming up. And if you want to go, you can save the date. I don't have much for information right now, but it's 93 miles. It's very flat, 93 miles, which is still a long day. And you can ride along with Governor Scott. And there should be, we'll see, there'll be some kind of support along the way and transportation back. So we'll get you more details. And anyone who's interested, it should be a fun time. And I kind of half skipped that link there. There's the primary care wellness plan. So a great program. I visited it this week myself for some kind of personal health things to kind of manage through. And for this week, we have the Groton Nature Center as a project we're highlighting. That's in the Groton State Forest. If you didn't know, Groton State Forest is right in the kind of the center of the state, and I guess it's our largest piece of state forest type property with multiple state parks in it, and just a really cool resource. So you can access it from Route 2 from Marshfield, or you can access it from the lower side on 302. So our work, we're contracted with the Agency of Natural Resources to construct the Groton Nature Center at the State Forest. And the original building was constructed in 1981. So, it's over 40 years old. And the state had planned to do a partial reconstruction of the building. However, rotten timber, rodent infestation, and other problems required that ECI scope change to an entire replacement of the building. And our work began in the fall of 21 and was just recently completed. And I have a link to an article from WCAX. It was from the original plans, just a bathhouse on the left. Bathrooms really is all it is. And then an elevation view of the building. From the site view, you see that there's some new parking or some improvements to the parking, more than new, and an access way with railings and everything, wheelchair accessible, handicap accessible. And then the bathhouse, and then the septic and plumbing and everything like that was also part of the work, as well as the building itself. Start out supposed to be, well, new roof and new timbers on the front porch and everything, but it turned out to be a whole lot more of that. And what I'm starting out here with the pictures of the event, there were quite a few people there. It's hard to tell, but there's quite a few people on the porch. And you see now that the people are gathering around for the ribbon cutting and speeches. And here's the inside with all the people who are interested in the place. It is really pretty cool. It's run, I guess, somehow in affiliation with the Echo Center. And there's a porcupine and a woodchuck or something there. And here's a couple people who are key to the project. There's Aaron, and there's Brian came up to visit. And this is back when we first arrived, or well, after we arrived, but after we started to strip down some of the pieces and get established on the project. And you can see we had some of the edge of the roof torn off and different parts, and getting it prepped for the scope work we originally had, and then gutted out the inside as our scope included. And you can see it's all 2x4 construction, including the sidewalls. The roof wasn't too bad, but still needed reinforcing. And you see there's I'm not sure who that is. It must be from the state, kind of inspecting some of the problems that were found. So it didn't take long, and then that's what we had. Just tear it right down, right to the foundation, the slab. I think it's really just a slab on grade. And then rebuilt it right from the ground up. Right through some of the more challenging months of the year, of course, down in Groton. It's a hard place to get to, but it has pretty tough weather conditions. Got some of the coldest weather and snowiest weather and buggiest bug season, you name it, it's got it. This is also what we had to work around too. Some of the partial exhibits were in there as we were still working in our subs. This is the end, like a little manager's area, kitchenette, and the side that you don't see. But all pine walls, looks really nice. And it was completed, so that was just before the opening ceremony. Nice, really very nicely done. I don't know if anyone else has any comments on it. Quite a few people worked on it in different aspects, whether it was the site work, the building work, just about pretty much everything except for the work our subs did. So it was all us. And from the photo archives, I have a photo of a PM coordination meeting back in 2009. I came across this photo. I thought it was pretty cool. Hey, Ben, is that your younger brother there?
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
There's Stu King was still here. Aaron
Yeah.
French, John Puglisi. There's the back of younger Burns.
Yeah,
And then Mike Drescher,
Jim.
Jim. Is that
Can't tell us
Chris?
beyond him than Alan.
Yep, Alan. Cool.
Yep, pretty cool. All
Back
right.
when we met in person every week.
Yeah. Okay, all right. That's all I got. I'll turn it back over to you, Matt. Have a safe day out there.
Yeah, thanks for the 55 plus that we saw attend this morning. If you're watching a group setting, please send me a message so I can capture full attendance. That'd be much appreciated. Let's start the day off with a good JHA and let's have a real safe day out there. Be safe.
Okay, thanks.